These are not the best of times for Nigerian aviation, and the telltale signs are written all over the industry. Suspension of operations of one of the airlines, grounding of operations, unviable airports, foreign exchange volatility, and high cost of fleet maintenance are some of the challenges the industry is facing. Let's examine the numbers. Only 4 of 22 airports are viable. Only 38 of 90 airplanes are active. Air Peace, Arik, Azman Airlines operate at 38.8% fleet capacity. Airfare tickets now go for between 76,000 naira to 100,000 naira for one-way economy seats. Round-trip tickets range between 140,000 naira to 190,000 naira, depending on the route.
The problem in the aviation is not peculiar to Nigeria, neither is it peculiar to any airline. I think it cuts across the board. When you look at the global aviation generally, they're really struggling. There are a lot of chaos that are happening around airports that are not known for such. That's an indication that we have a major problem on our hands. Yes, we can look at the global situation, the pandemic, the Russia-Ukrainian crisis. Both of them, are really dealing heavy blows to the global aviation industry. People will mention fuel. Fuel is a very critical aspect of the crisis that we're having now, and it's affecting all the airlines globally. The local industry has never had a situation whereby the fuel price will increase by about 300 to 400% within a space of 5 or 6 months.
Aero Contractors, Nigeria's oldest commercial airline operator, announced that it was suspending its operations temporarily from July 20, 2022, due to what it called harsh operating environment.
Aero shutting down, according to the management, is going to be a temporary situation. So it's not that they have, it's just an indefinite suspension of operation, but it's going to be, according to them, pending the time that the aircraft that are undergoing maintenance, by the time they return, they will restart their operation again. Like I mentioned, they only need 2 aircraft minimum to start to do the commercial operation. So once they have an additional one to it, it's most likely that they will return to service.
Just a few days after Aero announced his decision, the NCAA grounded Dana Air indefinitely, sequel to the latest air return incident involving one of its aircraft at the Abuja airport. This has also left another big vacuum in commercial air travel.
There's no doubt about it that the airlines really need to do more in terms of their scheduling, in terms of preparing for the route network almost on daily basis. I mean, they should not be punching above their weight. I mean, we've seen quite a number of issues with sunset airports, where certain airports we only operate between the hour of like 6:30 a.m. to like around 5 in the evening.
The challenges in Nigeria's aviation industry are not peculiar to the two, Aero and Dana Airlines alone. Arik, Air Peace, Azman, Ibom Air, and other local airline operators are struggling to keep their fleets in the air, due largely to the rising cost of aviation fuel and harsh operating conditions. The price of aviation fuel increased by 121.4% to 620 naira per litre in June 2022, from 280 naira per litre in the corresponding period of 2021, due mainly to the rising price of crude oil in the international market.
Let us note that aviation industry is deregulated, and once it is deregulated, it is a function of demand and supply. Everybody will have to more or less, sell what you buy. So if you are purchasing your fuel at 300 or 400% increments, it means that you have to pass the cost down to the consumer. Those are the dynamics of a deregulated sector.
Commercial airline operators have proposed to the Nigerian authorities several ways to keep their planes in the skies, with little or no positive reaction and action from the government.
For a government that is very much responsive, I'm not sure they will sit back and watch things that may snowball. Once there are too many shocks within the larger economy itself, certainly it will have a lot of impact on aviation. In that instance, it is expected that government will be much more proactive. Unfortunately, in our own climate, we've had too many instances where government does not really show to have empathy, not to bother. I mean, the situation we have in this part of the world is a system whereby we have government without governance, leaders without leadership. They don't really show too much of commitment that you'll have expect from a government that is bothered that things are really not going the way they should go. What one will have expected is that, yes, I will not want to go through the route of aviation intervention fund, which we have had in the past. Yes, is more or less one of the standard for government around the world to do in critical times like this. In fact, you see quite a number of governments all over the world doing that during the COVID. Otherwise, some of the legacy carriers that we have today would not have been in operation without those interventions. But can we afford to go through that route again in this part of the world? Not too many industry stakeholders will agree with that because of the experience we've had in the past. Now, minus intervention fund, one would have even expected that someone like the Minister of Aviation will have shown better commitment in times like this, but is more or less aloof to the industry, just like the president himself is aloof from issues in the country.
Expectedly, air passengers are the ones bearing the brunt of cancellation and delay of flights. A common feature at airports these days are stranded passengers with little or no hope their flights will not be delayed or cancelled. A look at the ramp of the Lagos airport recently suggests an industry that is struggling to take full flight. Grounded aeroplanes are now more than the operating aircraft. So is government intervention by way of bailouts the solution to the crisis?
Government intervention has to be strategic. It's not just to come in with a palliative that will be a temporary stopgap without finding permanent solution to the entire problem that we have. Who is really in this country today, who is really bothered that we are not refining this product in the country? Because if Nigeria is refining Jet A1, certainly we should not be having this conversation in the first place, irrespective of what goes on on around the world.
Operating costs, especially the cost of fueling aircraft, have gone through the roof. Passengers are paying through their noses and passenger traffic is shrinking. To keep the hummingbirds flying, the federal government may need to hasten to the assistance of the struggling airlines to stem the burgeoning distress and settling the sector. Aviation experts have also called for the government to develop and implement a policy that will support growth of other aspects of the economy, tourism, extractive industry, and so on.
Street Foods Naija is back, and this time we are searching for food business owners on the street or online that can redefine and take street foods to the next level. Up for grabs is 10 million naira in cash, plus an all-expense paid trip to Dubai. Second and third place grand prizes worth 5 million naira and 3 million naira respectively. To participate, simply text or WhatsApp the name of your street food business, location, and number to 0908 764 3339 and get a slot at the regional live activations happening in Lagos, Enugu, and Abuja. Follow at Food Bay TV and Street Foods across social media. Entries close midnight 6th August 2022. Terms and conditions apply. Street Foods Naija is proudly brought to you by Food Bay TV
in association with Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture. Uncaged by Tiger Beer, refreshed by Peak Yogurt, and supported by Lacasera, Metropolitan School of Business and Management, HBS, and Endured Rental, Media Partner, Guardian.